Puffet train, noisy little puffet train. Are you going to the sea? Puffet train, oh, please take me. Noisy little puffet train. Okay, are you ready? Because you just want to do it fast. Puffet train, noisy little puffet train. Are you going to the sea? Puffet train, oh, please take me. Noisy little puffet train. You better bring that puffet train into the station nicely. Now, I'm not going to go slowly with this song because this is what the story is about today. Right. It's about a puffet train, okay? And they're called puffet train because they're steam trains, okay? And the power that powers them is not an engine or it's not petrol, it's steam. It's coal and it's steam and it burns and it moves them forward. But this is a story about one of the little carts at the end, okay? And he's called a caboose. It's a story about the little red caboose. All right, and he didn't like to be at the end of the train. He always wanted to be the first or the most important. And sometimes we always think that if we're first, we're the most important, but it's not always so. So I want you to listen to the story nicely. First came the big black engine, puffing and chuffing. And then came the boxcars. Okay. It's a goods train, so they carry goods. Okay, so that's why they're called boxcars. So they've got stuff in them. Okay, so they're taking things from one place to another, not passengers, not people. Then came the oil cars, and then the coal cars. Okay, so they were transporting oil, and they were transporting coal. Okay, and then the flat ones. They were very handy because they could load stuff on top. There they've got hay, here they've got wood and timber. And there's the little caboose right at the end. Boys and girls, they waved at the big black engine and they listened to the boxcars and the oil cars and the coal cars and the flat cars and those that went clickety-clack. So the children loved to wave. And with a bit of luck, the engine driver would wave back at them. So they liked to wave and get a response when the train went past. But by the time the little red caboose came along, the boys and girls were turning away because the little red caboose always came last. "Oh, smoke," said the little red caboose. "I wish I were a flat car or a coal or an oil or a boxcar, so boys and girls would wave at me. How I wish I was a big black engine, puffing and chuffing way up at the front of the train. But I'm just this little old red caboose and nobody cares about me." So he felt very sorry for himself. But one day the train started up a mountain. Up went the big black engine, and up went the boxcars, and up went the oil cars, up went the coal cars, up went the flat cars, and up went the little caboose. Okay, so now remember, the train's going up, so this engine has got to have a lot of power to get all this, the oil and everything else, right, the hay, the wood, he's got to pull it up the hill. And that's why when we sing Puffet Train going up, we sing it very slowly, right? But now, hang on tight, little caboose, called the flat car. This is a long, tall mountain, and the last car on the train you are, so hold on tight. We don't want you off the rails. "Don't I know it?" said the little red caboose. "Poor me." The the train went slower and slower and slower, and soon it was hardly moving. It looked as if the train could not get up the mountain. So it was going slower and slower and slower, and it looked like the train was not going to get up that mountain. "Look out, little red caboose," called the flat car. "The train is starting to slip." So instead of going forward, the train was slipping, and it was coming backwards, and it was going to push the little red caboose all over everywhere and off the rails, and then he would fall sideways, and then there would be a big train crash. "The train is slipping, but if I will see that I can try and stop it," said the little red caboose. "No, no, it won't fall, not if I can help it." And he slammed on his brakes, and he held tight onto the tracks, and he kept that train from sliding down the mountain. So there you can see he's doing his awful best just to put on his brakes, hold the train so that it doesn't all come slipping back, and you can see if it slips back, it's going to go off the rails, and then we say the train has derailed. It's gone off the rails. Then bump. The little red caboose felt something pushing from behind. It was a big black engine. They pushed the train up to the top of the mountain. So just in time, although he had his brakes on and he held the train and he stopped it from rolling back, a big black engine came slowly from behind with more power. And what do you think it's going to do? It's got more power, so what's it going to do? It's going to try and get the train to go up the hill. And that's what it did. "We couldn't have done it," said the little black engine, "if it hadn't been for the little red caboose putting on his brakes and holding us until the other engine came." Everybody cheered the little red caboose, and he nearly burst with pride. So they all said, "Oh, he's wonderful. Look what he did. He held the train. He stopped it from derailing." And the little red caboose was so happy now because he was more important than the big black engine. So he was very happy. But you know what happens now? Now the children don't just wave at the engine. They wait and they look and see when the little red caboose comes, although he comes through last. Okay, so now they don't just go after they've seen the engine and wave to the other cars. They wait because they know, well, how important the little red caboose is. And look how proud he is there. Very, very proud. But they saved their biggest waves for the little red caboose, because the little red caboose saved the train. So now he doesn't just get one wave or two waves. He gets the biggest waves, and he absolutely loves them. Now, the other day, I asked you if you came to school by boat. And I said, if you were telling me that, I would know you were telling me a story. Today, I'm going to ask you, did you come to school by train? Well, maybe you did come to school by train, but you would have had to have walked from the station, because a train has got to be on rails. So the train couldn't have left you outside school and dropped you off like a car does, because a train needs rails, and your car is fine. He can come to school because he comes down the street and down the road. But if we travel by train, the train needs train tracks and rails. So that we can travel by train, but then we've got to stop at the station. We've got to get off at the station, and then you would have to walk from Florida Station to school. So it is possible to come by train, but not to be dropped outside, because there's no tracks and there's no rails. I hope you enjoyed that story, and I think it teaches us quite a lot, because at school also we always want to be first in line, and it is nice. But you know what? It's not the most important thing that we do. We do other important things at school. And when you do come back to school, it's going to be very different for you to come back, because we're going to all nearly be in front, because we're all going to have our own space. So we won't have to worry about who's in front really, because we're all going to walk very much on our own, because we've got to give some social distancing. And distancing is space. Anyway, looking forward to seeing you all. Hope you enjoyed that story. See you soon.